Greetings colleagues, fellow teachers and educators around the world. I'm Nikos Ifakis. You hear me often talk on this channel about the precedence of pedagogy over technology in distance education. However, this does not mean at all that I reject technology. In fact, the exact opposite is the case. I am a firm believer in the importance of using technology as a means of facilitating and promoting good teaching and unhindered learning. What we need, in other words, in my view, is expert advice on what kind of technology to use and how to use it. In distance education and e-learning, we have to use online and offline tools that are easy to use. They motivate our learners and can help us differentiate our instruction. For this reason, I invited Alessandra Cannelli, who is an expert in educational technology and e-learning based in Rome, Italy, to give us her own perspective and suggest a handful of online tools that have a real impact on teaching and learning in these demanding distance education times. Let's listen in to her very interesting points.
In this conversation, I'm going to show you some digital tools available as apps as well for smartphone, and that will allow engagement and motivation in your distance teaching lessons. It is a short list devoted particularly on speaking and writing competencies, but creativity and collaboration are the key points. Play Pause It is an interactive video player that allows you to create or upload any ready-made video or your own and create activities, questionnaires, and more that can be tracked and will give you feedback on your students' progress. Many teachers use this tool because it offers a variety of powerful interactions, giving immediate feedback to increase long-term retention and giving double learning efficacy. You will receive immediate accessible data to effectively remediate concepts, automatically assign grades, and address deficiencies. You can even assign your students to create their own video on specific topics and give them the possibility to give vent to their creativity. Here are some examples. The first example deals with a story for primary school. While watching this video, the student will be given the possibility to answer some question on it, and you will receive immediate feedback on it. The second video I'm showing you created, you can find more in the gallery, is about a conversation among teenagers. And the teacher here asks first to watch the video and in a second time listen again to the conversation and answer the questions created by the teacher. And in this way, you will receive immediate feedback of what the student has understood so far. The last example is about a literature lesson, a not usual lesson made by a teacher who then asks comprehension questions that deal with the life, in this case, of Edgar Allan Poe. And it is motivating for them because it's not an usual lesson about literature, and you can use your own material for that. This Play Pause It has added several resources for emergency school closures. You can go and browse through the website so that you can fit the resources to your needs.
Can I ask you something? How much, in your view and in your experience, how much preparation is needed by the teachers? How much do they have to prepare in order to get comfortable with using this tool?
But at the beginning, I think that you need to understand how it works. But they are very user-friendly. That is, you have to upload, for example, you may use ready-made materials here, or you can upload a video that is relevant for your topic on YouTube. And then you can upload it and just write the questions. It's very useful, not difficult to be used, but of course it depends on the level of competence you have. Many teachers have already had experiences of this kind, but others don't know how to move, and so it depends on their competence. But anyway, they're very simple because you have to upload the video and then you have to add where you want the questions on the various parts, and then you save. So it's not difficult to be created. So another way of keeping students engaged and motivated in the creation of language material is the use of digital storytelling. And here I'm showing you a tool that is Spark by Adobe that allows both the production of stories with images or with the creation of videos accompanied by the voice of the author. And this is important for the students so they can create a story about their personal experience or about an experience they have had with their classmates. Here you can see in this example the storytelling of an Erasmus project made by some students going to their partners in Finland about music. There were two high schools matching, and they created this story that documented what they did during their meeting in Finland. Students and teachers really appreciate, especially in this moment of physical and social distance, tools that allow them to talk to their peers. But as already said, this is not always possible for lack of devices or internet connection, and this way they can speak not synchronously with this Flipgrid tool. Therefore, the use of Flipgrid encounters the favor of everybody because all the people taking part will simulate a conversation. Let's see how. Flipgrid is a platform that allows educators to ask a question, then the students respond in a video. Students are then able to respond to one another, creating a web of discussion in English, usually among schools from different countries, but now among classmates or schoolmates. Here you can see a tutorial, and I'll show you an example that took place during a course for teachers from twinning schools. They were discussing about the use they would do of this tool, Flipgrid, and each of them could express his or her opinion just clicking on this plus, this button, and they had just to record their voice, saving this on the Flipgrid. Below, you will find a tutorial that will show you how it works. Of course, the teacher has to register, and then the teacher creates a code with the question and shares it with the students who are going to create their videos, and the conversation. Another tool that is appreciated by younger students, but not only, is Voki, that creates speaking avatars that can be shared even on social media and on blogs and on other blogs or websites where students share their materials, for example, Edmodo or other portals. Moreover, we have problems with some students when we teach them how to speak, not only for language teachers, but even for other subject teachers, because they are shy. They don't want to speak with the presence of their classmates, and this way it could be an opportunity for them to speak. They don't want to show themselves. So this is the solution. They will give voice to the character they customize, and you will not have any problems making your students' production public, as no personal item is shared. Personally, I used it in projects, in e-twinning projects, because the Italian law is very strict about privacy, and this way I overcame the problem, letting them get voice to it. The tool, as you're going to see in this example I made some time ago.
Hi, my name is Alessandra Cannelli from Rome, Italy.
It gives the possibility of giving your voice or writing the message and having a voice with an accent. So this was the teacher asking the students to do some recording with their avatars. And you can see even here the video tutorial that shows how you can do. You have always to register, but all the things I'm showing you are free. Of course, there are different levels. You can even have pro profiles, but I'm showing you free tools, and you have just to choose register, and then you choose dresses, clothes, and the face of the character, and then you give your recording. You can either record it before and then upload it, or you can directly record your voice. VoiceThread is a platform where students develop critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity skills. I think that creativity in the use of ICT tools is a key point. It is important because it involves students in doing things while they are learning. They are not focusing on the object of their learning. They are focusing on doing something, and in the meantime, they learn. VoiceThread offers a natural online interaction that helps students to present and to defend their work in front of experts and peers. And it may be used collaboratively as well with one document itself. You can share it with your students, and the face of your students will appear with their voice on the same thread of the voice. Here I'm showing you just an example with the teacher speaking about the students' experience, showing them what they have to,
including elementary schools.
So we're going to speak about the personal experience. This is a primary school, speaking about eating experiences in an intercultural environment. So they're sharing their way of eating. Other teachers use this kind of activity, assigning a link with the same file, and each student will react with a sound thread expressing themselves. For example, I used it with everyday activities, daily routine, for example. Each of my students had to record their voice, and all the class was on the same audio document, so they could have, in this case, not video as Flipgrid, but here audio to share their experiences. Now I'm going to talk about writing skills, as this may be helpful in these times. You can assign your students to work on writing tasks. Maybe you can ask your students to work collaboratively, and in this case you can use Google Docs or Google Presentation, for example. Here I'm showing you something more creative that students can use. For example, the Snap Guide tool. If you want to engage them in a challenging but rewarding activity, you can ask them to create a guide that can be used to speak about, for example, a recipe, or to create food, or an art craft, or something you are teaching, for example, science or any other subject that needs to be retold by students. When students are allowed to reflect on how to explain to others, they learn double what they are learning, because they have to express their ideas to their peers. And so creating documents that then can be showed to their classmates is really important. Of course, in school, it can be used in a step-by-step guide on an explanation of, for example, mathematics or science or any other topics that is explained by the teacher and needs to be re-explained by the student to his or her classmates. Sometimes it may be useful to have a tool like Calimero to create a shared document, a shared magazine that is similar to the documents we see online, that you can move forward just with a click. And Calimero is very useful because you just write and then you customize it in selecting images, not videos, but images and documents. Students like it because they usually go online and try to read magazines online, going from one page to the other just with a click. And students like it, teachers like it, and it is really challenging, not difficult, but very motivating for them, because you can then share it in the school's website or in any blog you have created with your students. It's very simple, and you can create it in a few clicks. I hope this conversation on technology for distance learning may be useful and help you to enjoy your new, but we hope only for short, perspective. I found that teachers need something that feels in their shoes, not someone who just speaks about things from the outside. They need to be guided, but they need to find some correspondence in the person that is explaining that. So something that they can reuse, not something that will be only not real situations.
The advantage of these platforms is that they are selected, they are quality platforms, they are easy to get to know for everybody, both for the teachers and for the learners. They are not specific to a language, so that you can use Greek, you can use Italian or any other language. But my question, perhaps to close this section, is what is your position on using social media in education, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat? What is your position as an educator? Because everybody's in these platforms, or nearly everybody.
But personally, I don't want them to use Facebook during lessons because it is a problem of safety. And so if, as I use the Twinning platform, I ask them to use the chat. We have chats. They can use that chat. So because we know who is entering, who is there, and who they're talking to. In Facebook, this is not so clear. So I don't like them to use Facebook for this kind of activity. As for teachers, it is important to use Facebook because you know better what to do. Students don't. I found some students in my classes who were object of many problems from people. So I think it's important for the students to have safe places where to work, and Facebook, maybe Twitter or Instagram are not so insecure. I don't know, but Facebook is a place where a lot of people go for different objectives. So for students, it's not safe. And more than that, I would say that students are not aware both of the opportunities and of the risks, above all of the risks of using social media. They don't realize what the risks are. And there are lots of risks.
There is also an opportunity to teach our learners how to respect human rights while being online, to avoid all these dangers, because we know one of the problems that we face as educators is the problem of bullying. And this can very easily be transferred online, especially with these platforms. And also to help our learners develop a sense of netiquette, to observe the rules, know the rules and observe the rules.
Yes, you're right. I think that as they don't know how to behave online, but how to find opportunities and avoid risks. Teachers are important in this. We need some digital citizenship. We must know exactly what the risks are, but we have to catch all the opportunities that are really enormous, as we have experienced in this period. Going, for example, to some museums all over the world, taking part in conversations with people around the world. And as you said, it is important to use them properly. Many people, even adults, use social media and just for as haters, we would say. And this is something that is not useful. So it could be a way of teaching them how to behave, both online and even in real life.
Thank you, Alessandra, very much for your expertise, for sharing your expertise with us, with the world, with whoever is watching. And thank you for your time. And let me also add congratulations to all the educators, teacher trainers, teachers, principals, counselors, and everybody involved in education all around the world. All the schools these days are online for the foreseeable future. Let's hope that this situation ends very soon. Let's all stay at home, even when the weather is good and we want to go out. Let's make the best of the online communication for now. And let's hope that Italy, Greece, and everybody going through these very, very harsh times gets a break very, very soon. Thank you so much for everything.